see my screen. That's really the most important part.
We can now. We got Einstein right up on the
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so first of all, this is our first Q&A webinar of 2016. And honestly, I'm a little under the weather, so please forgive me if you hear like some sniffling and maybe a little coughing. I'm going to try to keep it very, you know, flowing. So usually Jamie Hodge, our Director of Education, does this one, but I'm pitching in for him because he's traveling back from vacation, so you got me. But we have a very exciting show for you today. I mean, really, it's going to be hopefully one of the simplest yet best things that I could possibly do in a webinar to help you do better with stocks in the markets. But before we get started, I want to make sure everyone understands that Trade Ideas is a education provider, and we are not a registered investment advisor. So all the information that you're seeing here and listening to should be construed as informational and educational purposes only. So my lesson today is really about opening your eyes. And you know, there's 68 people here. Every one of you is here because you want to do better in the stock market. And so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what that means and why your approach really should change. Okay, so today everybody knows the market gap down huge because China, and there was a lot of like, you know, talking head fear, bear market, all the stuff that you see all the time. But the problem is you're listening to the wrong stuff, and you shouldn't even listen to that at all, because today, in the world of information technology where things are identified more quickly, we are no longer trading an S&P market. You know, you look at this day, you know, look at this W, and forget thinking that, you know, oh, that's a double bottom. None of those things matter. It can reverse this instantly tomorrow. In fact, if you're sitting there watching the SPYs, you're wasting valuable energy. I mean, it's okay to like keep it in your periphery, but if you're focused on this stuff, you're going to miss huge opportunities. Okay? And the opportunities have a certain look and feel to them. So the other thing I want to make sure you all understand is the notion of efficiency. So is the market efficient or is it not efficient? You know, you will hear from everybody on Wall Street, the market's efficient, you shouldn't time the markets. But the truth could not be further from real. Now, timing the markets is certainly not an easy thing to do, and the whole notion of saying timing is kind of silly because you're looking for behavioral patterns that you recognize and hope that those behavior patterns continue. You know, that's the whole notion with pattern recognition. But look at the possibilities, you know, to the tune of inefficiency. You know, I want to just give you an example. In theory, and I'm going to open up this chart, I mean, just again, for perspective. You know, in theory, everything was really efficient right here on this candle, and all the information, you know, would tell you that the market was going to get obliterated at 522. It's in such a downtrend. But then this ended up being a very nice kind of emotional bottom. And the key about alpha, which is what we're really going to be talking about, which is how do you make the percent returns that you really want versus the BS that you hear? Well, you have to find alpha where other people are not looking, where you're looking to actually time a turn because the behavioral and quantitative statistics dictate it. So that whole notion about, you know, not timing is just completely false. So you need to be comfortable with the fact that opportunities in the market are now stock specific and not ETF or S&P specific. And what I mean by that is you really have to be aware of opportunities that you otherwise aren't seeing and would not see with other vendors, and then be able to take advantage of them. So what we have, and a lot of people, you know, this is the Q&A section, so a lot of people ask us, so what is the best approach? You know, And I often, again, make I mean, I want to talk about, obviously, the Trade Ideas Artificial Intelligence Discovery Engine for Investing, which basically does everything for you. I mean, there is nothing like this on the planet. Um, what we have here, and again, I'm going to explain this in the context for those, excuse me, for those that are not familiar with Trade Ideas. I'm going to explain it in the context of what we do. So we are an investment discovery engine, right? And to do that, we connect to the exchange data. But we don't just connect it to display it for you like almost all other vendors. What we do is we connect to it and store all that data in our databases so that in real time we can process all this information and then take it to another level. We can hypothesize, like basically like the guys who play blackjack and count cards, like the, Breaking Vegas card counters. So our computers basically mimic what a card counter does in Vegas. We're crunching like millions of potential trades every night. And we're coming up with percentages that are based on, the most hardcore statistical analysis that you could possibly, oh, excuse me, that you could possibly come up with. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to show you something. Again, why is it that we were trading all of this today? So I'm going to move the win percentage column, and I'm going to expand this a little bit. Okay.
So let me interrupt for a moment. After your last cough, your mic volume dropped quite a bit. Can you test again in just a moment?
Oh, really? How about now? Is it better or worse?
That's a little better. Keep talking.
Okay, I think it was just the cough, and next time I'll just cough away from the mic.
Yeah, you're all right. I think it kind of blew out your sound level for a moment. Okay, you're good.
Okay. So the reason that you were seeing these strategies today was because up until today, this was the card counting percentages of success for all of these. So, and notice again that a strategy where you're trying to find opportunities based on stocks and statistics, it goes both ways. Today's probably the best example of how to, utilize this technology, because look at what it's showing you, okay? To have succeeded today, you had to have done both, or been lucky. There's always luck. But if you want to be consistent over long periods of time, there's nothing better than watching Holly as an expert. So this is the thing that we've been talking to new subscribers and having them understand this, kind of like in a TV show metaphor. I mean, I think I've said this before, but how many people here are either familiar with or have watched Grey's Anatomy? Maybe because of your wife. And again, I've said this before. Okay, so Grey's Anatomy is a medical show, but it's at a teaching hospital, okay? And the idea is that how do surgeons who are trying to become, real surgeons and better surgeons, how do they learn? Well, they learn by watching surgeons who already know how to do it. And this is it. So Holly is your surgeon that knows how to do it, and you can watch her do it all the time in real time. This is how you succeed using Trade Ideas technology. And we're going to talk about a lot of alpha potential that we're noticing that I want you to be aware of. But at the end of the day, there is no better feed with statistics that let you see this kind of behavior. And again, you're taking your risks. One of our first trades ended up not working out that great. Although, of course, it came back with the rest of the market, but we lost 75 cents on it. But it doesn't matter. It just, you keep going, and you watch, and you learn what's happening and why. So again, this is part information and part education. You can instantly, what do people do with this, right? And that's the other question that everyone asks. So how do people use this technology to make money? Well, it's kind of simple. Take a look. You see core. This is the alert of the signal. I mean, this was just such an amazing trade at 15:45 today. This was, again, all done by the AI. And by the way, look at when it was, so I am West Coast, right? So 928 is kind of late for me, and the market was completely obliterated. It was way before any of this started. So right in the height of the decline, the software went long right here. And look at, again, the beauty is that you almost were never, ever in danger. And that goes towards being able to identify the statistics behind moves that really pay off. Okay? So now, in terms of what we show people and how this information becomes relevant to you, people often ask us, well, so what's this 173, et cetera? So we kind of take, so that everyone can relate, what we try to do is show what the AI would have done if it was trading one share. You know, that's the idea, because again, there's no way for us to speculate what you can have. In 2016, we're going to have a full system of paper trading where you can put in an account size and hypothesize commission and really feel it more on an account level. But at the end of the day, this tells you that you made 1.71 points. So if you netted all of this together, that's what you got. And this was how many trades you had. So again, Trade Ideas lets you do two things. It's letting you get ahead of the curve by, again, look at today. I mean, how could you possibly, and notice again, nothing is ever perfect. It started up and it was down like 30 cents because it was in different trades. But look at this move, completely counter to what was happening in the market, as the software was able to do both, be on the short side when it was time, and then be on the long side when it was time. These are things you most likely will never be able to do, not because I'm being negative, but because, again, it's against the whole 10,000 hours / emotional aspect of trading. The kind of pain you would have to put in to be able to do this kind of investing and trading on your own through a learned experience is monumental. I've been doing this since 1996, but everything that I've learned is put in here. So you have the stops, and you have the profits. You know when you're getting out. You know the entry price, the exit price, everything. Okay? So remember, I'm going to answer all of your questions, and that will help with some of the confusion. Again, we also do a basis point calculation. So if you kind of more into the percent aspect of it, you can kind of see what we come up with, and we handicap ourselves quite a bit. But remember, okay, we have to assume some basic things to make this work for you, and we do not know how much equity you have, and that's why the data looks the way it looks. That's why you make $1.71, and you can see, multiply this number by either the shares that you were trading or the dollar amount that you would spend on the stock, and times the price, and then you understand what the percentage P&L would be. So this is alpha discovery at its most sophisticated, at its best. And as the CEO, like I said, I've never been more excited about what's happening, because this kind of day just proves everything that I've been really talking about on Twitter and telling people, that this is the evolution of investing. If you're sitting there and you're looking at charts and you're drawing lines, I mean, it's nice to do one at a time, but think about somebody who's utilizing this, where all of that's already been done. Your job, and again, we have a great video on this on our homepage, your job as the CEO from your financial empire is basically decide to take it or not to take it. And the way to do it is to watch it and get comfortable and see how it behaves. Now, the big thing that, again, that takes the analysis that we do to another level, and I want to touch upon this because you need to have confidence in the truth, And the truth is that trying to statistically trade is not easy, and you can't do it at home because it requires a kind of server technology and database technology to be able to do what we're doing that no other vendor does. And this is what I want to explain by talking about the quantitative combine. Okay, so how did we figure out how to really create a system that can beat the S&P, give traders an unusual return, and really do something that's never been done? I mean, this is not, again, you don't hear this from other vendors, and certainly this is nothing even compared to anything that's penny stock millionaire-esque. I mean, this is technology at its finest, okay? So what you have here is over 35 strategies that were designed by the Trade Ideas team and a few of our customers who are, by the way, also always in the Trade Ideas community. So let me share that real quick. On the left-hand side of our channel bar, on the bottom, is a live trading chat room, which includes some of the best traders utilizing our technology. And this community not only, again, discusses trades, but they give everyone else feedback on, some people take the different AI trades, they talk about why. So there's this community that's built around our approach to chasing alpha, which is statistical and not guessing, which is what everybody else is doing. If you find yourself drawing pitchforks and all this other stuff and, fib lines, these are things that have been taught to you. You don't really know that they work because you haven't ran the statistics. So let's talk about that real quick, because this is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself in 2016. Open your eyes. And again, I've said this before. So let me show you something. Okay, so this is an alert window. So anybody who's new to Trade Ideas can see that not only are you able to channel surf and watch all these amazing setups, but you can also do it yourself. If you like to tinker, our software's been around since 2003. There's so much functionality. It's literally insane. Okay, so let's go to an example. I'm gonna, first of all, again, I'm just kind of showing you what you can do. So I can go to fib, okay, and I can say, okay, Fibonacci 38% buy signal, okay. Again, you can do more customization, like how many hours, but we're just doing a general explanation of why drawing numbers on charts does not work. So I'm going to go to Windows-specific filters, do a broad test. 1, 2, let's call it 10, or 5. 5 to 500 to get rid of the Berkshire Hathaways that nobody trades, and average daily volume, 5 days. Here we have 100,000, but let's make it 1 million for people that are really conservative. And we're going to say fib field test. So I hit OK. And the very last stop that came across is this one right here. So again, tons of information. So the next question is, and this is what our software does for you with the AI, is we say, well, is a fib 38% retracement, is that a buy signal or a sell signal? So we can go back to the strategy, and again, here I'm using just general things. I start at 7 a.m. so as to terribly sorry. I start at 7 a.m. so as to avoid the volatility of the first 30 minutes, and again, to be more like people who have real jobs, okay? And then I'm not initiating trading after the last hour. So I say, and again, I can ask some questions, like what happens 60 minutes later? So here we go. Notice what's happening here. You are now seeing the power of real database technology. So it's going, and here's what it looks like. So, to the tune of guessing, by the way, randomly, the market is very efficient. So if somebody told you, like Vector Vest, that this is, the fib line, that's the line. It's just like everything else that you hear from, again, pundits, like it's Elliott Wave, or it's RSI, or it's MACD. I mean, all that stuff is just data points. And Trade Ideas has access to all of them, and none of them provide any kind of advantage, sorry to say. So with this, knowing this, we task our AI to transform this into this. So again, we ask the computer to listen, reconfigure this going back a quarter and figure out what was the best that I could have done, knowing like what just happened. So like, for example, right now, if you're interested in knowing, Holly, our AI engine, is right now going through all the trades that are happening today, right now, analyzing them for success and failure, looking at what the spies were doing, all the things that, again, you would have to do to succeed, and is looking to create a list of the strategies that are going to be ready for tomorrow. And here's something else, the reality of there's no such thing as the magic penny stock, millionaire, silver, bullet, picture my Lamborghini system. So look, ETF Master, 60% successful, but today, one trade, loser. Mighty Mouse, 60% successful. Today, 3 trades, all losers. Here's another one, 63%, one trade, small loss. But then, look at this, 85% success on the shorts that you would have had to have gotten in after the market opened, remember? That's the key. We're not coming in with anything. The system gets in and out every day so that you can emulate it. You don't have to get out, but the system does. So we didn't come in short the market and we're like, woo, woke up on third and thought that we hit a triple. Okay? No, all this was done post-open. And, and this is how the statistics translated. That's what we aim for. It's that simple. We are looking to mimic the statistics that our AI is seeing. So that's the things that creates the 35 strategies that are, again, right now doing the quantitative combine. The competing amongst themselves to trade tomorrow. So Scott, why don't we pause right here? I'm going to let you come in and tell everybody about how we do things. Then you should make sure you stay because I'm going to kind of show you some amazing alpha opportunities and how I find them. Because again, I'm not just only AI. This is not just AI is not the holy grail, although we named Holly that specifically to make fun of people who are looking for the holy grail. But I'm going to talk to you about how you utilize AI in addition to our other technology. So bear with Scott.
Yeah, why don't you actually put it on the homepage as pricing grid, since I don't have that slide on this particular presentation.
Did I not do it?
Well, I could talk about the savings now. I was actually going to tell them since we're doing the normal break, but so we're software as a service.
Oh, here you go. Here it is.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I just didn't have that slide in this prezo. So we're a software as a service company. So our prime subscription model is the $99 per month monthly subscription that's all inclusive except for the odds maker and AI. So it includes your real-time data from the exchanges, all the charting, and very importantly, it includes your free hour of one-on-one training, which is very important to sign up for because it helps you get a head start. Also, it includes all these webinars that we do every week and access to our support and the trading room, which Barry hosts. So our $888 per year is the annual recurring plan, and that saves you a bundle over the $99 per month. It's a really great thing to sign up for as long as you're planning on being able to trade ideas for more than 2 or 3 months, which we hope you do. It's a really outstanding value. So the way the odds maker and the AI work is a one-time license via the 1100. That gives you full access to the back testing module, the odds maker. So you can refine your own strategies, back test your own strategies without having to do any programming at all. So unlike something like TradeStation where you need to write scripts and maybe just back test against 1 or 2 stocks to see if that particular strategy would work for your small basket of stocks, you can back test against any stocks or the entire universe of stocks on your own. It also gives you complete access to the AI channel, which is Holly. And that lets you see trades that are performing in the market right now that have been back tested and statistically proven overnight. It's an outstanding way for you to really access the full power of trade ideas. After Dan's answered some of your questions in the next segment of the webinar, we're going to come back and I'll explain to you how you can use that code you saw briefly Office 4 to save some money for your first month, for an annual, and also let you all in on a combination package that we are making available until we release the version 4 as a standard release rather than beta version. So stick around for that. And again, ask any of your questions in the question panel, and Dan will be able to get to those shortly. Dan?
Scott, thank you very much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start answering your questions. Why don't you guys fire away? And again, and if not, I'll keep going. Okay, so Andy asked, what is a time stop? Okay, that's actually an amazingly good question because most people don't get it. And it's part of the nuance of the power of trade ideas. So let me go back here to show what I was talking about. So, oops, dang it. Here's the new alert window. What was my recent settings? Was the fib field test. Load it, hit OK. All right, so here's again the window that I have created. Okay, so when I go to backtest the strategy, the software wants to know, how long do you plan on holding this stock? I mean, consider that question. A lot of people have no idea how to even approach that question. I don't know, is usually the answer. Time stop is talking about, for you to be able to test, what is the optimum time to hold a position? So for example, here we said 60 minutes didn't work. Well, what if we went to 120, which is obviously 2 hours? Okay, so I'm going to simulate by, and I'm going to see, does giving me 2 hours help in any way, shape, or form versus the 1 hour? And again, we just blew through over 2,500 trades in, under 20 seconds. That's what you're competing with, you realize, right? And again, terrible. So, but now you know that holding for that short amount of time, a lot of people, like, everyone talks about scalping. I'm in, I get 10 cents, I get out. Scalping is like the worst thing that you can do. And I'm not saying that because the technique of scalping does not work. No, there are people who are quite good at it, including, for example, Barry Einerson, who's our head moderator in the room. But what I'm saying is, starting out with a preconceived notion of only taking a small gain is just very silly, because it's very hard to keep replicating. Because look at the odds. Again, without help of AI, this is I can't say a more important statistics. Anything you test, if it doesn't have AI sprinkle of magic to it, and what I mean is the quantitative analysis, the card counting, it's roughly right here. And I can prove that, again, by just going and showing you another example, which is, again, just something else that you can relate to. So I'm going to search for the 20-day moving average. It's a very popular alert when people say, okay, well, I want to see, is a 20-day average a good idea? So then, again, just another example. You can change a lot of different things, but here I'm going to utilize an interesting part of our technology, our custom data of relative volume, which says that I want to see this only when the 20-day moving average is happening on 2 times normal relative volume. So there's momentum. So 20-day Momo test. Sam, I'm going to answer your question in a second. So Sam asked an interesting question, because that's how, again, you've been taught to think. The software picks the stock, Sam. The software does not know which stocks are going to be traded today. That's the beauty of AI. It's looking at events and quantifying the events and the likelihood of the statistics of that event. It lets us identify when is a 20-day moving average a good signal versus not. So let's do a quick, again, hypothetical test. Same thing, but this time I'm actually going to show you for swing trading. Okay, at the market open, 5 days. Okay. I just want to see which way it's going. There's advanced stuff that you can do in just 63 days. Simulate by. See, you can't kind of rest on your laurels. You know, that's what the market teaches you. Like right here, if you were trading this strategy, that would have been okay and good, and the AI would have been helping you to do that. But the key is, how do you know when to stop? That's what we bring to the table. It's a completely new way of doing it, where these numbers, 49.5% and everything else, they are instead, which here, 76%. And the time stop, okay, is what that means is the exit was based on time. So since we tell the computer to get out of every trade at the end of the day, the time stop means that it was never stopped out, and it just basically got out when we told it to take, exit the trade, to get out. And that's all that is. And you can actually, when you have the AI channel, you can create strategies on your own and come up with your own concepts that you can also test. But 98% of the people who are new to trade ideas are really using this because since it's been up, they really just, they kind of like have that aha moment and say, man, why would I want to trade not just with this, but without this? You just wouldn't. So, so Andy, news. People always asked about that, and it's one of those questions that's actually kind of silly because, and that's not your fault, so please don't take that in the wrong way. News does not matter because prints hit exchanges before news is released. News trickles. So let me explain what that means, okay? So look at this. This is, again, I love answering this question. So something is happening here. This isn't just random stuff. So there was a buyer here who, for whatever research reasons, had decided that Southwest Energy, it was time to get in, okay? And that was the thesis. Whatever news was coming out, it was already starting to come out before any announcements and then continue higher. So tape beats news all the time. So David, which video are you talking about? And what video? We added the AI this year. So in 2015. So we do have a lot of videos that are out there before the AI came out. But again, we're pushing technology where it's never been pushed. We're most likely going to be on Shark Tank to really bring this to the masses, and it's going to be amazing. But every single person, okay, every single person who has an account at E-Trade, Scottrade, IB, or any of the other brokerages in the U.S., who has an account with money in it, will stand to benefit from being exposed to this tech. Okay, so Leon, great question. Yeah, Barry answered it. So our standard for what is a good base after the combine, so it's to make it in the lineup, it's got to be up at least 60% and have, like Barry said, have a minimum profit of 1.8, which means that the winners are almost 2x the losers. But when we start a base strategy, so before the AI does its magic, a typical strategy needs to be above 50% and above like 1.1. So in other words, we want the general wins at our back. Terry, you are correct. And what's even insaner is on Thursday, I'm supposed to go snowboarding in Mammoth. So I appreciate after this, it's a quick one. So, look, guys, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. The AI, this is what we're the most excited about. But I also, since you're here, I want you to see some things that are really setting up and how we find them. So, we use physics and science instead of bullshit. So, stocks, and I'm sure you've heard this before, stocks with a smaller float, which is how many shares they have outstanding to be traded by people, will tend to move more quickly on news or whatever when a buyer buys everything else. So it's better for individuals to trade those types of stocks where you can see something really interesting happening, okay? Like all 31% of the float being traded. You know, you can see these incredible moves, okay, and take advantage of them. So here's an example of you know, I want to talk about, you know, changing your perception of expectations, okay? Look at this light path technology, and I've been tweeting about this, I mean, literally since like somewhere around $2. I'm going to bring it out here. I mean, it's like on all-time highs, but look at this beautiful move from like 150 to 100%, and this is where your attention should be. So Alex, you know, again, I get it, but here's the thing. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about what really works, and I know that some people even do stuff systematically, but we haven't added EMAs, and I mean, we do plan to, because before we really put stuff in, we did a lot of testing to see what works and what doesn't, and we don't find any data advantage in using, for example, specifically like just RS, like it's never just one thing. So even if we added EMAs, the EMAs might never be the thing that the AI does, because again, the EMAs are competing with a ton of other filters that we already have. So Mark, my Twitter handle will be at the end of the presentation. So I'll tell everybody, you know, what we're doing and everything. So here's the other thing. For those of you who are Trade Ideas subscribers, every window you see here, and I have a bunch of just amazing investment exploration windows, are windows that we give you guys. Because again, we're not competing with you. We're not some pump and dump, whatever. We want to be in the same things that you're in. You know, and here's some examples, and notice again, they come up in like, you know, here's the float on window and Holly's must watch list. A lot of times they have the same stuff. You know, and you can quickly, you know, gravitate towards, again, notice the constant theme, right? We are looking for those inflection points for you to get into, okay, so that you can take advantage of reversion back to the mean, or if we're really fortunate, a real trend change, which is again what you see in these windows. Look at the trend change lubricant. You know, I mean, we have AI that's looking for this. How could you not want to be watching this? Now, here's a perfect example. Tantec, right? It's getting ready to set up, but it's not there yet. So you can quickly, if you like something with Trade Ideas, right-click, create a limit alert, and say, go, 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 save, and that if you have your limit alert windows open. And again, I think that's coming up in pretty much the next release or in the next beta. So there's so many ways for you to take advantage of this technology, and nothing really compares. And here's another example. Some of them are already starting, and some of them are, you know, have already kind of gone a little bit. Again, you can never tell. Obviously, there's no way to predict anything. There's just how do you react to it. Look at this beautiful chart right here. I mean, this is the thing that you want to be watching. Because when stocks like this start filling the gap, when they completely reverse the negativity, that's when you really see the potential to capture gains. Okay? And this is it. I mean, that's what I really wanted to do today, is to kind of say, open your eyes, join us. We're the best that you can do today. And again, you know, I know I'm the CEO and I make money when you use Trade Ideas, but we've been doing this for 13 years, and there's just nothing on the planet does what we're doing today, and we cannot be more excited about it. Scott, so before I completely pass out, why don't I give you the floor to finish up?
Yeah, sure. Just put it on slide 4, that thank you page, and then we'll roll into the next one. But as a thank you for joining us on these webinars, we like to provide a way for everyone to either subscribe if you're not a subscriber, or upgrade your subscription and save. So the code that's highlighted there on the page, all in capitals, Office4, is valid through this Friday, January 8th at the end of business. And it lets you take half off your first month, 20% off your first entire year, or 25% off the lifetime. So if you wanted to upgrade from the $99 a month plan to yearly, you can get into that for just $710 for the first year. And then you're grandfathered in at the $888 rate. for as long as your subscription's active. Same deal with the monthly. You get half off your first month, sign up for the training, get a head start. Before you end up paying the $99 a month. And again, that $99 a month is grandfathered in for when we raise the rates, which might happen when we add additional features. The odds maker, the one-time $1,100 cost that gives you the odds maker and the AI, that 25% off knocks it down to just $825 lifetime. Great way to upgrade your plan. But if you're a subscriber or if you're not a subscriber yet, the next slide is really where it's at. We're offering this up until we release version 4 as a regular release rather than a beta. So right now it's beta, so we're offering this combo. And it gives you the full year of trade ideas and lifetime oddsmaker AI for $1288. It lets you save $700 immediately. And the best way to get to it is to type that URL you see highlighted directly into your browser. And it's capital SAVE 700 after the slash for a bit.ly link. So it's bit.ly/SAVE 700. There is also a handout if you go to your GoToWebinar interface and click on the handouts panel. There's a PDF you can download with these links and this information. So again, this $1288 bundle is a fantastic way for a subscriber to upgrade into the annual and the AI together. And really it costs you just pennies more than it would at the $99 rate per month for the whole year, and you get the AI. So you want to follow Dan at Trade Ideas 1 on Twitter. We also have at Trade Ideas. It has lots of great strategies coming through it. Our Facebook account is a good one to like and follow because we do post offers occasionally on Facebook, events, other things that are interesting that we don't post elsewhere. So we're Trade Ideas Pro on Facebook. Shoot us an email, info@tradeideas.com, or Dan is dan@tradeideas.com. Normally Jamie is the host of this session, so he can be reached at jhodge. He'll be back in town starting tomorrow, so he'll be training again starting tomorrow, I believe. Or shoot us a phone call during normal operating business hours on the West Coast, and we'll be able to get back to you. Thanks, everyone, for attending. Thanks, Dan, for the awesome presentation. I hope if anyone has any additional questions, shoot a question to that info@tradeideas.com email address. Thanks all. Thanks, Dan.